What's that in your ear?
What do you mean?
Oh, it's your phone! You want to see how I did that?
I just did.
You sure did. That's good.
Try it again, though. Like, could you literally pull it out of my ear?
Yeah, I could do it where all the people can see.
I don't mean in slow motion. I mean, like, if your life depended on making it into an actual trick.
Yeah. Yeah, you stick it right here.
I mean, a 2-year-old wouldn't fall for this. So your answer is no.
No, I think you go like this. Hey, watch this hand.
Hey! Welcome to Good Mythical More. We're going to share the story of Roy Cleveland Sullivan, who holds the world record for the most number of lightning strikes on his person. You're gonna guide us through that. But first, in an effort to be entirely transparent, I'm gonna share the
Wow, it seems like you might be
the
going
roots
somewhere
of
weird.
my fear of lightning.
And everybody's scared, got a healthy fear of lightning, I would think.
I actually don't have a fear now, but for many years I had this. I wanted to be a weatherman, but I was deathly afraid of lightning. But you don't have to be friends with lightning.
Interesting. Yeah, I said it was a weatherman's dilemma, but it's like you're not a storm chaser. It's like the studio.
You sit in front of a green
the
screen.
The same chance of getting struck by
stand.
lightning, as a house.
But as I didn't go to preschool, I stayed at Loretta's house.
Well, I've heard about Loretta.
And Loretta was deathly afraid of lightning. And whenever a storm,
which is interesting because she was very small.
Yeah,
I should be scared of lightning.
I mean, when I saw her a year ago, if I stand this tall, like she's literally this tall.
She's like under 5 feet tall.
Yeah,
she shouldn't be scared of lightning.
Well, yeah, because height has nothing to do with fear of lightning.
Height does have something to do with fear of lightning.
Well, not near in your house, though.
If me and you are next to each other,
that's true.
I'm going to be struck.
Right, so it should be inversely proportional.
Proportionate.
She was deathly afraid of it, so whenever a storm would come up, she would like batten down the hatches, and then she'd secure all the doors and the windows. She'd say, "Stay away from the windows," and we would huddle in the middle of her house. I remember this as a kid.
Are you sure it wasn't
as like
a tornado?
5-year-old.
Like
no.
You're getting your memories mixed up?
No.
She thought lightning was going to reach in through the windows.
She said, "Don't go near the windows." She treated it like tornadoes, which there wasn't that many tornadoes that come through North Carolina.
No,
I mean, it's not like Kansas or something.
Right.
So I was deathly afraid of it. And Nanny was big into don't take a shower during a storm.
Well, she was right.
Which that seems to be right.
Yeah, and that does make sense.
I was really afraid as a kid. It was like, it's going to come in and it's going to find me wherever I am, unless I'm huddled in the middle of this house with this very short woman.
When you saw Loretta, you should have been like, "Hey, I don't know if you're watching kids anymore, but just so you know, like I was scared of lightning my entire life up until like last year because of the little huddle thing that we did."
But this man survived a whole bunch. Walk us through all of the lightning strikes.
I remember this picture of him with his lightning struck hat from the Guinness Book of World Records that I had as a child.
I didn't know Gene Hackman was a forest ranger.
He was before he was an actor. A lot of people didn't know that, but it's true.
And is that a hole in his hat from a lightning strike, or is that something on the photo?
Well, I just said that was his hat that had been struck by lightning.
You did say that?
I did say that.
Yeah. I wasn't.
You were coming up with that Gene Hackman joke.
I think that's what was happening. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, this dude has been. Okay, let's just start. He's a park ranger, and the odds of being struck by lightning are 1 in 10,000, which is actually, that's a lot higher than I would want to know. 1 in 3,000? Oh, am I looking at the wrong slide? Oh, 1 in 3,000. There was another slide down here that said 1 in 10,000. So
the odds are changing.
They just went up. The odds just
day.
went up. Whether it's 1 in 3,000, which I think it is, or 1 in 10,000, that's higher than I would like to know, because that's like a whole lot higher than your chances of like winning the lottery. But the odds of being struck as many times as this guy was struck, I can't do the math on that. He was a U.S. park ranger. Okay. I'm not even going to tell you how many times. I'm just going to go through them, and you're going to be like, "No, there can't be another one." Yes, there is always another one.
And is that what I'm going to say?
Yeah, I want you to say that. April 1942, He's hiding from a thunderstorm in a lookout tower, which, if you talk to Loretta, is probably not a good idea to get into the lookout tower.
Well, there are windows in it, then it's fine.
He was not huddled he didn't huddle in the middle of it, is his problem. But, okay, so he waited until it was safe, and he got out, only to be hit by lightning a few feet from the door. It's burned a half-inch strip along his right leg, his right toe, and left a hole in his shoe. So that's how it got out. It went down his leg and out his shoe. But hey, just a couple of burns and that's it. Then...
No, there can't be another one.
He waited until July 1969. So this is like a 27-year wait. Oh. And this is when things really get heated up. He's driving in his truck. Lightning hits a nearby tree, is deflected into the truck, and hits him, knocking him unconscious, burning off his eyebrows, eyelashes, and most of his hair. Now again, like we talked about in the episode, I always thought you're safe in a car because it's grounded, right? It's got rubber tires. Well, like we said before,
well, it's not grounded for that.
It's not gonna have any trouble getting through those tires and just burning them off or just going right next to them. The reason you're safe in a car usually is because it goes around the metal frame of the car and doesn't hit you most of the time. So the whole thing about not touching metal in a car when there's a thunderstorm is actually true. You want to get away from that frame and you want it to go around the frame.
You want to huddle in the middle with a small woman.
But yeah, exactly. So he was with Loretta in the cab of the truck. They were huddled together. It bounced off the tree, burns off all his hair.
Wow.
Then a year later, in 1970,
oh goodness,
he's in his front yard.
No, not again.
Yes. Lightning hits a nearby power transformer, and from there jumped to his left shoulder, just searing it. Just seared his left shoulder. I mean, by this time, you got to start thinking,
Lightning be getting bank shots on this guy.
Is it me? Is it something about me? That's the question that I would be asking if I was Roy. But it happened again. In 1972, he's working inside a ranger station in Shenandoah National Park. Great spot, by the way. And another strike occurs, this time setting his hair on fire. So there's always a little something different with Roy. This time he just sets his hair on fire. Okay, because he had been struck in 42, and then 69, and then 70, and then 72, so 3 times in 3 years, he's like, maybe somebody is out to get me and lightning is following me. Like he started thinking that maybe there's like an alien situation going on. He didn't know what to think.
In all fairness, the lightning, there's a lot of it happening.
Wouldn't you be thinking the same thing?
To him.
And then in 73, he's still, first of all, couldn't he get another job? I mean, he's still a park ranger. 1973. He sees a storm forming, and then he thinks that the storm is following him, which usually just means the wind is blowing in your direction. But he claims the storm is following him. So he waits until he thinks it's safe. He gets out of his car, and he gets hit by lightning again, this time setting his hair on fire, but also knocking off his shoes.
Maybe it's the hair. Maybe he just needs to go bald.
Well, Link, in 76, 3 years later, gets struck again. This time, it just gets him on the ankle. It's backing out a little bit. It's like, you know what, Roy?
I'm just going to give you a little dink
just
on the
a little
ankle.
Snake bite. 1977.
Again?
The year I was born. Saturday morning, he's struck while fishing in a freshwater pond. The lightning hits him in the head, singed his hair, travels down his body, burns his chest and his stomach. So this is, if you've been counting, that's 7 times that Roy was struck. Now, a lot of people might be like, isn't this dude just making it up? I mean, really? I mean, was there somebody there every time? Well, all 7 strikes were documented by the superintendent of Shenandoah National Park, R. Taylor Hoskins, and they were verified by doctors. So I'm not saying that R. Taylor was there for every single one, but there's every reason to believe that this guy was legitimately struck by lightning 7 times. So much so that this is how he got into the Guinness World Record book, because they don't do it unless it can be verified. And then after all of this...
They also want to sell books.
After all of this, and this is the sad part, getting struck by lightning 7 times and living is a pretty cool thing. After all that,
8th time killing?
6 years later,
struck
he
again.
shoots himself.
Oh. With a lightning bolt?
No.
How do you do that?
He did not do that, which is just so strange. But maybe you got to think that there was some mental and emotional anguish going on, thinking that you're the target of the sky. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what does that do to a person?
Poor guy. Well, now we know. Sadly.
Maybe Loretta knew this guy. I mean, this is the similar time frame. You know? Maybe.
Well, she protected us. When in doubt, huddle about.
Huddle about.